No, but why did y'all have to stop by so late? Like, literally, the street light is on. Okay. Y'all didn't see that. Today you will be doing what your friends in the cartoon community, shout out to y'all, like to do a lot and seem to like, breaking down the Boondocks. You will make this video all about Jasmine, comparing her character in the comics and in the television series. Play the My Scene song.
Chances of getting a puppy.
That is correct, shorty.
A part of me feels like nobody even really remembers Jasmine's character all that much, aside from her just being the mixed girl of the Boondocks. Like, she bailed out in the end when it got a little too scary for her. But Jasmine has been through a lot worse. She literally went to the movies with the Freeman family and all that crap was going on, okay? So it really just feels like they didn't know what to do with her by the end of like season 3, especially in season 4. Because, hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hello, welcome to The Pirate Ship, also known as Harry Hook's Pirate Ship. Always remember that I am the captain, you are not my first mate. You know we were gonna get into this. I don't got no first mate. No one's worthy of being the first mate. I got a second, 3 seconds, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a 13th, and even a 12th. But nobody's worthy of being first. Hello, my name is Harriyanna, and if you're new here, I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues within those spaces. I know someone's gonna comment, yes, I got a haircut. Yes, long hair don't do it for Harry, okay? Especially with being a model, they actually kind of prefer if your hair is short like this. Long hair, I just don't like it no more. I know a lot of y'all like my hair when it was longer. I just can't. I prefer my hair shorter. I just don't like long hair on me no more. Before we get started, I just want to let y'all know, y'all see what I got on? Y'all see what I got on? And the lip gloss I'm wearing, and y'all see the necklace. You can purchase all of this stuff from my merch coming soon, okay? This hat is a part of my Harry Hook collection. The necklace is a part of the Harry Hook collection. The growed up shirt is part of my Rugrats collection, and this lip gloss right here that I'm wearing in the color Susie Carmichael is from my Rugrats collection. So if you would like to purchase this stuff, June 1st is when I am launching summer collection. So yeah, let's hurry up and get through this shit so we can get straight into what we're going to talk about. I have Patreon, please go support. I upload, you know, exclusive behind the scenes videos over there. Last but not least, I got a web show. Link to the pilot down below. Link to the Instagram is down below. Now today we are going to be doing something that everybody in the cartoon community has been doing recently, and mainly over the years, but a lot more recently, the Boondocks. And I was like, you know what, how can Harry, Miss Hook over here, Harry Hook's wife, take on the Boondocks? And I figured out how I can do it. I tried to do it in a way no one else really did it. I tried to avoid watching videos about her in particular so it wouldn't change my opinions. So Harry takes on the Boondocks. So the storyteller on YouTube makes wonderful Boondocks content, so you guys really should go check out his channel. I will have that link down below for you guys to watch. Like I said, how can Miss Harriyanna Hook bring her insight to the Boondocks conversation? And I think I have put together a nice little piece today. For those of you who don't know, a lot of people don't really know this, but the Boondocks was my first adult cartoon. Yes, I started off with that one. I started off with that one, okay? At the age of 11. Yes, I would sneak and like watch this show like on like the Adult Swim website, and then like on the middle of the night me and my sister would like try to stay up and like watch the episodes. And this literally was like right after season 3 ended. So yeah, This is when Adult Swim still aired the show like that. But one particular character in the Boondocks that did catch my attention during that time period was Miss Jasmine Dubois. Mainly because she was the character that I really saw myself in a lot while watching the series, as she was nice, she was so naive, and she cried a lot. That was me then. That was me then. I am a lot more like Cindy now that I'm older, just kind of like the black version of her that knows her place. Cindy would be a lot different if she were a black person. Anyway, let's just skip over that. There's a reason I called myself Black Cindy McPherson, okay? But it's some things about Jasmine that I just really could not relate to on her. Like, one, she did not look like me, okay? Like how I mentioned, I look more like Luz from the Owl House than I do Jasmine Dubois. Cindy don't look like me. As one, she is about like almost 4 shades lighter than I am. She is biracial. I am monoracial. Jasmine only has a 1 black parent. I have 2. As I've recently been reading the Boondocks comic strips, I used to see them all the time in the newspaper from time to time, but I actually bought the book of them all, and I highly do recommend that you guys give those a read if you can. I know you can look them up on Google and find a few, but if you just want all of them, highly recommend reading the book, okay? And it's just one particular character in the Boondocks comic strip that I just find very, very freaking hilarious, and that is Jasmine, okay? Like, the way she is in the comic books is not the way she is in the show. I prefer comic book Jasmine over TV show Jasmine, and you know what? I'm gonna explain to you guys why I think that. Because the show does not do her justice, okay? Jasmine is not one character where it's just kind of like, in the show, they like took it up a notch for everybody. Jasmine, they toned her down by a lot. And the series has Jasmine was just kind of like nothing more than like Tom and Sarah's daughter, Huey's little friend, the little biracial girl that lives next door. She was the little mixed girl of the show, as people always just made comments about her being mixed, as Ruckus would call her a little half-breed, a little mixed breed, a little half and half. Yeah, Ruckus is terrible. As the series is unrealistic compared to the comics, like, okay, like, when are we ever going to see an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old do things like that, okay? So, it's very unrealistic compared to the comics, as the comics are a bit more slice of life. I honestly kind of prefer the comic books a little bit more because, I don't know, this pandemic has hurt me a lot, and I just felt a lot of comfort reading the comic books, okay? The show was a bit more satirical and like more of a social commentary on the black community, while, you know, the comic book was that too, but the TV show was that on 10. We saw Jasmine in a completely different light in the television show than we did in the comic book, because in the comics, she was a lot more than just Huey's friend, the girl next door. She was a mess, but she was a fun mess. Jasmine in the comic book was a hot freaking mess, and that had to do with her mixed ethnicity, because she didn't know what to identify as. I loved it. I freaking love Jasmine in the comic book. She always gets the most laughs out of me because she is just so naive about so much stuff. She gets easily confused. It's very, very funny, okay? Like, this version of Jasmine is just way more entertaining than the one we saw in the show, because Jasmine in the TV show, honestly, is just, she's either whiny or she's boring. That's it. Those are the only 2 things that she does in the show. She's either crying about something, complaining or whining about something, or she's just there. And it's very, very frustrating. I'm sorry, you guys. The washing machine is going right now. I apologize. But like I said, Jasmine was just very, very confused about her identity, as like nobody around her looked like her. That is just one thing in particular I found very, very funny, because I remember Cindy did make a comment to Jasmine about how she couldn't tell what she was, and I was like, okay, so that just goes to show you that Jasmine is just kind of like the only one of her kind in the area that she lives in, which I completely understand, because me going to elementary school, I didn't really start being around like a lot more mixed kids until I went to high school. But like in my elementary school, we only had like 3 mixed kids all together. Everybody else was just black. And we all just kind of looked at them like, you look different than us, but we can't put our finger on it. So I completely understand that bit of confusion right there. How nobody around her looked like her. And also her not having, like, her being very, very confused about what to do with her hair. Because she was like, it's just too much for her to handle. It was too much. It was really, really big. Her just having issues with her hair, as I inserted it in my Eleanor Park video where I did the voiceover for where she was having trouble doing her hair. That particular thing, I did feel that. I could relate to her on that part. As you guys see, I got a real freaking haircut because I'm just tired of my hair. Okay? Also, she was very, very confused about when Huey would talk to her about race. As usual, that's just expected in the show too, but like here it's just like more in your freaking face. And she was also very, very naive about a lot of things that were racist, and she didn't even realize they were racist, and a lot of that had to do with her being half white. And Huey would check her on that sometimes. It would be very, very funny. I remember one time she dressed up as something racist and Huey threw like something at her. And this was like a Halloween thing too. It was Halloween. She wore a very offensive costume. She didn't know it was offensive. She didn't realize why it was offensive. She didn't understand why. And Huey started throwing stuff at her. And she was sad about how somebody threw stuff at her. And he was just like, oh, that was you, my bad. I'm telling you, the comic books are freaking funny. Read them. Read them. Okay, but like I said, she was also listening to Cindy's BS because Cindy would just be talking and she just be listening and she just become even more lost. Jasmine was a confused freaking mess in the comic book, and it was a joy just reading because I was just like, this child needs help. This child just can't get it, and it's just very interesting to read. Okay, read the comic book. Read the comic book. And one thing particular that I really noticed was really freaking weird is that I'm somebody that watched the show first, then read the comic books. Her and Cindy were like buddy in the comics. Like besties, I would even say. In the show, they literally only interacted for one freaking episode. And it was because of Riley. So I find that very particularly interesting. Okay, let's continue. Let's just continue. So that for the most part is Jasmine's character in the comic book. Not the comic book, the comic strip. But in the show, she didn't really do much of anything. And it kind of felt like the writers didn't know what to do with her. Like I said, aside from just following Huey and Riley and then that one time Cindy around and them getting her into trouble from time to time, and then her selling lemonade when the block was hot, literally, isn't that the name of the episode? Jasmine was just there. Like, she didn't do anything, and that really bothers me. Like, back then, it didn't bother me because I ain't know the material that she came from. Now I know that, it really freaking irritates me, and I think Jasmine Dubois deserves better. Okay? Like I said, at the end, it really showed, like, it made no sense how her character was fitting into the story, because like the entire fundraiser episode, as I mentioned earlier, why would Jasmine be involved with that? Stuff was just not making sense in my opinion. Like, yes, it makes sense to show how she was naive, but then she bailed out in the end when it got a little too scary for her. But Jasmine has been through a lot worse. She literally went to the movies with the Freeman family and all that crap was going on, okay? So it really just feels like they didn't know what to do with her by the end of like season 3, especially in season 4, because she only made like probably 1 or 2 appearances, barely talked, and then she just dipped. Season 4 is just trash in general. We try to act like it didn't happen, but she just felt very, very out of place in this series. Like, her original voice actor, Gabby Soley, she didn't even come back for that small little part that she had in season 4. Like, Like, that's how you can tell. They just really didn't even care about Jasmine's character. Like, was she even asked to come back? I really am curious to know about what happened to Gabby Soley. Like, if anybody knows, please tell me. I've been worried. Like, I legit can't find anything on her. If you guys can, please comment down below. I'm actually worried. Is she okay? Anyway, let's continue, okay? Season 4 was just trash overall. There were like probably 1, 2, or 3 good episodes, but it just felt very, very incomplete, and we don't know how the fate of these characters were in the end. Like I said, I mentioned before on my channel, well, the video hasn't come out yet, but like, I understand the Boondocks was just kind of like a show where the kids never age, and this just kind of was a time period of their life. Even though they didn't age or anything like that, they still could have done so much more with her character. A part of me feels like nobody even really remembers Jasmine's character all that much, aside from her just being the mixed girl of the Boondocks. Like, when you bring up Jasmine Dubois, people be like, oh yeah, that was Tom and Sarah's little mixed daughter. That was the little girl that lived next door. That was the little girl that I assume Huey ended up getting together with in the end. Like, that's just how people just view Jasmine, and that really just bothers me because there's just so much more to her than that. Like, she's more than just the little mixed girl that lived next door in the Boondocks series and she cried a lot. That's it. That's just kind of how everybody just knows her as, because I remember I searched through Twitter one day years ago and I just typed in Jasmine from the Boondocks on Twitter, and everybody was just complaining about her character, saying she was annoying and she didn't do anything and she was just there. And I really just hate how that's how everybody just views her freaking character. Like, if the show had the comic book version of her, not the comic book, the comic strip version of her, get it together, Harry, I felt like her character would have been more iconic, because Jasmine in the comic strip is very iconic, but nobody knows, because you want to know why? People don't read. I would say the other word, but a lot of people that watch me ain't black and they be getting uncomfortable when I say that word, but don't read. They don't read. They don't want to read. Pick up a damn book, okay? Like, read. That's one thing that just gets on my nerves about how people just don't like to read, is that y'all be missing out on so many great stories simply because you can't read a book. Like, that just really bothers me so much. Like, y'all, if you have the ability to read, I understand it is very, very difficult. As somebody that deals with a lot of mental illness problems, I understand reading books can be difficult, okay? Start easy with reading comic books, okay? Like, y'all be missing out on so much stuff because y'all don't want to read. Anyway, let's keep going. But until more people read the comic strip, which they probably won't, because you know why? People don't want to pick up a damn book. This version of Jasmine Dubois is what everyone is just going to know her as. And that really bothers me, and it also really, really kind of sucks. I think Jasmine Dubois deserves better from y'all. And also, she deserves better from the Boondocks writers. As much as I love the Boondocks, okay, it's open to criticism, okay? There's one thing that really gets on my nerves in general, is that whenever somebody talks about something, y'all act as if they are not open to criticizing it, okay? Almost everything on this channel that I talk about that I like, I have critiques about it, okay? Like, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, but Azula character freaking frustrates me, and I got dragged to hell and back for that, okay? But like I said, to close out this video, I'm just gonna say, you guys should read the comics, okay? You guys should really read the newspaper comics. I know you can find a few of them on Google if you just look. If you guys have the Kindle app, you guys can read that with Kindle Unlimited. If you guys would like to purchase it, the comics really aren't all that much. Probably about $12 a volume. I think there's only about 2 volumes. I have both of them. If there's another one, I'll make sure I get the other one. But y'all, please read the Boondocks comics if you get a chance, okay? I'm not gonna lie, some of them are very dated. Like, some of these comic strips are very dated. We're like, yeah, I can tell this came out in the early 2000s. That didn't age well. But for the most part, stuff like that in the Boondocks television show didn't age too well either now that I think about it. But please read it. Please give it a chance. I really do enjoy them, and I want other people to enjoy them too. Like, I do plan on doing more Boondocks comic dubs in the beginning of my videos, as I really, really do like them. It's just, you know, there's a lot of male parts in these, and I gotta contact my male friends to help me with them. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really just feeling my merch, okay? It's giving Y2K baggy clothes, okay? We're not giving Video Vixen Y2K. We got Video Vixen Y2K stuff coming up later over the summer, okay? Say about July, but I cannot wait for you guys to, you know, check this out. Not all the shirts are this big, by the way. I just like to wear my clothes super big. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night.
Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of us.